Okay, we've all been there. Right? Your mind's racing. Tasks are piling up. Phone's buzzing. You're, physically in the room, but your thoughts, they're just scattered everywhere, a million miles away.
Pulled in every direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that modern overwhelm. It can be incredibly draining, that feeling.
Totally. And you just wish there was some simple fix, an antidote to that constant buzz.
Right, that sense of being stretched thin, never quite landing in the moment. True presence feels like a luxury sometimes.
Well, today we're going to do a deep dive into how that antidote might actually be something you carry with you all the time. Your 5 senses.
Yes.
This isn't about some complicated new habit or technique. It's really exploring how tuning into sight, touch, sound, taste, and smell, how that can unlock some real joy, help manage stress.
And cultivate that deep presence in your day-to-day life, even when things feel totally chaotic. So we'll unpack some, actionable strategies, look at real-world examples to help you really tune in. Tune into the world around you, but maybe more importantly, the world within you.
Right.
Because these sensations, they seem simple, but they're actually incredibly powerful tools for grounding yourself, boosting your mood.
Improving focus, even.
Yeah, definitely improving focus and resilience, too. It's quite remarkable.
Okay, so get ready to discover how you can maybe buffer some of that stress, foster a bit more contentment, often in just a few minutes, just by paying a little more attention.
Let's dive in. So, the foundational power of our senses. What are we really talking about here?
Well, at its core, it seems like your senses are the direct link, right, to the world, but also, crucially, to the present moment.
That's the key. When your mind gets hijacked, worries about the past, anxieties about the future, your senses have this almost magical ability to just pull you right back to the here and now.
Which is why they're such powerful tools for mindfulness, for dialing down that stress or anxiety.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They anchor you.
And I think a lot of people listening have probably heard of the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. It's pretty widely used.
For good reason. It's very effective.
Yeah, it's great for pulling you back from that feeling of overwhelm, but maybe for those who've tried it and maybe felt like their mind still wandered or it didn't quite click, what's the deeper layer? Is there a subtle shift in mindset we need?
That's a really good question. Because it's not just about mechanically ticking off a list. 5 things I see.
Right.
The real power, I think, lies in the quality of your attention. So you start, like you said, find a comfortable spot, take a few deep, intentional breaths. But then when you get to those 5 things you can see, instead of just naming them chair, desk, lamp, try to really savor them just for a moment, as if you're seeing them for the very first time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Notice the specific shade of blue, or the way the light hits that surface, or maybe the intricate pattern on a leaf outside. It's shifting from simple identification to curiosity.
Okay, so less about quantity, more about the rich detail. Savoring it. And then you move to 4 things you can touch.
Yes, and again, lean into the actual sensations. What does your shirt feel like against your skin right now? The temperature, the texture of the table, maybe the subtle weight of your body in the chair. This direct physical input, it kind of bypasses that overthinking part of the brain, right? The prefrontal cortex. It's incredibly effective at short-circuiting the anxiety loop and just anchoring you in your physical body.
Right, getting out of your head. Okay. Then 3 things you can hear. I find sometimes with sounds, I start judging them. Like, oh, that car's so loud, or that's annoying.
That's super common. And it highlights that non-judgmental aspect, which is crucial but tricky. It's about just noticing. Where's the sound coming from? What's its pitch? How long does it last? Without attaching a story or an opinion.
Just the raw data of the sound.
Exactly. The hum of the computer, maybe traffic outside, maybe even just the sound of your own breathing. Then for 2 things you can smell, take a slow, deliberate breath. What's there? Coffee, fresh air, maybe something you didn't even realize.
Okay.
And finally, one thing you can taste. Could be the lingering taste of your last drink, or maybe just the neutral sensation of saliva in your mouth. And the thread through all of this is, when your mind wanders, because it will.
It always does.
It always does. Just gently, kindly bring your awareness back to the sense you're focusing on. It's like building a muscle, that returning.
So, okay, it's clearly a great tool for immediate stress relief, like a mental fire extinguisher. But it feels like engaging your senses like this more regularly offers more than just crisis management. What are the sort of broader, maybe proactive benefits?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really important distinction. While it's fantastic for that immediate relief, pulling you away from scattered, stressful thoughts, The long-term benefits are, well, profound. Regular practice really enhances emotional regulation. Well, by shifting your attention from those churning thoughts to felt sensations,
Mm.
the warmth of the sun on your skin, the crisp taste of an apple, you start developing a different relationship with your emotions.
Ah.
You get better at noticing them earlier, with more clarity. This awareness helps you identify feelings before they feel overwhelming.
So you can respond more skillfully rather than just reacting.
Exactly. You have more space, more choice in how you respond. It builds that emotional resilience.
And I'd imagine this kind of practice, focusing your attention, would naturally help with focus and productivity too, like training your brain.
Absolutely. When you consistently practice bringing your attention back, focusing through your senses, you are training your brain to sustain attention. It naturally reduces distractibility.
Which means better focus when you need it.
Directly translates to greater efficiency. Yeah. And here's where it gets really transformative, I think. This practice fosters both joy and resilience.
How does joy come into it?
It's a bit like a gratitude practice. When you start truly noticing and savoring the small, pleasant sensory moments throughout your day, the smell of rain, the color of the sky, the taste of your tea, you buffer yourself with these little pockets of joy.
Micro joys.
Exactly. And that accumulation builds a deep, underlying sense of contentment. And it strengthens your ability to bounce back when things get tough. You start seeing beauty, or at least interest, in the mundane.
Oh, that's really powerful. Okay, let's make this more concrete. Let's move from the foundation to unlocking that joy through each sense, maybe with some real-world examples. Starting with sight. I mean, we all know that feeling of calm looking at a beautiful view.
For sure. The impact of nature on our well-being is huge, and there's solid research there. There's that Japanese practice, Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing.
Right, I've heard of that.
It's not about exercise, it's about mindfully being in nature, absorbing it. I remember reading about a study, fascinating. They took people into an urban park, so still city noise around. They spent 2 hours just intentionally noticing colors, shapes, movement in the leaves, the light. And the result wasn't like wild excitement. It was this deep, quiet contentment, a physiological reset.
Wow.
And the effects on their mood lasted for days. It lowered cortisol, the stress hormone, by over 12%, just from mindfully looking.
12% in an urban park. That's amazing. So it's not just about needing epic wilderness.
Not at all. You can find joy in everyday sights, a sunrise, dewdrops on a spider web, the way snow looks on branches, simple things.
And if you can't get outside, I read something from the University of Minnesota, I think, that showed even just having a window view of nature can boost life satisfaction, even speed up recovery for hospital patients.
That's right. So bring nature in. Houseplants, maybe some nature photography or art. It really can help reduce stress and just boost your mental well-being.
Okay, moving on to touch. The power of physical connection. It's undeniable, isn't it? That warmth from a hug.
Oh, absolutely. We're wired for it. And it's not just a nice feeling. Get this. A simple 20-second hug can trigger a release of oxytocin.
The cuddle hormone.
That's the one. It boosts mood, obviously,
Right.
but studies have shown it can actually lower blood pressure and cortisol levels, our main stress hormone.
Just from a 20-second hug.
Yep. It's like this built-in physiological reset button we all have access to.
Incredible. So beyond hugs.
Right.
Simple things too, like tickle fights with kids, a foot massage, just holding hands.
All of it. Those simple pleasures bring so much joy. And it's not only human connection. Think about mindfully feeling textures.
Like
The softness of a warm blanket, the feeling of sun on your skin or rain, or maybe the texture of moss on a rock or a rough tree bark. Even just focusing on your feet, touching the ground as you walk, feeling that pressure, that connection, it's incredibly grounding. And of course, petting an animal, well-known effect. Lowers blood pressure, slows heart rate. Good for them, good for us.
Definitely felt that one. Okay, let's shift to sound. Music obviously has a huge impact. Confucius said something about it, right?
He did. Music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. And it's so true, isn't it?
Totally.
Music just directly taps into our emotional states. We all make playlists, right, for relaxing, for energy, for specific joyful memories.
Creating your own soundtrack to life.
Yeah, it's a simple but really powerful act of self-care. It engages the auditory cortex, stimulates and soothes the nervous system.
But beyond music we choose, what about just listening to the world? Mindful listening in nature.
So restorative. Just opening a window or going for a walk and tuning in. Birds singing, wind in the trees, water flowing. It can be incredibly grounding.
Even recordings can help. If you're stuck inside or in a city,
Yes, research shows even recordings of nature sounds, especially at certain frequencies, can help calm the amygdala, our brain's fear center. So yeah, useful if you're in a noisy urban spot.
Okay, but what about listening and conversation? That's a different kind of sound, a different kind of listening.
It really was.
I have to admit, sometimes I catch myself, the other person's talking, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Oh, we all do that. It's a real challenge, isn't it? To truly just listen without formulating your response.
Yeah, to listen and not think, as you mentioned.
Exactly. A friend shared that insight once. You cannot listen and think at the same time. And it just clicked. It really gets to the heart of mindful listening and conversations. It's about giving your active, non-judgmental attention. Fully present, absorbing.
Okay, so for those of us like me who struggle with that habit of prepping our reply while someone's still talking, what's like the very first practical step to break that pattern?
I think the very first step is just setting the intention. Before you even start talking, take a breath and silently tell yourself, okay, I'm going to really hear this person.
Just that simple commitment.
Yeah. And then during the conversation, set the stage. Ask open-ended questions, ones that invite more than a yes or no. Put your phone away. Yep. Huge. Eliminate distractions. Notice their body language, their tone of voice that carries so much meaning. And if you do feel your mind, start crafting that perfect response.
Which it will.
Right. Gently bring your attention back to their face, their eyes, the sound of their voice. Maybe take a quiet, mindful breath before you respond. Just create a little space.
What if it's just a bad time to talk?
Then acknowledge that. Say, hey, I really want to hear this, but I can't give you my full attention right now. Can we talk later? Be patient. Let them finish their thoughts without jumping in.
It sounds like practicing this could genuinely transform relationships. What are the big payoffs?
No, they're significant. You become much more aware of what others are actually feeling. You understand your own reactions and biases better too.
Ah, interesting.
It helps you sidestep those knee-jerk conflict-based responses. Leads to better compromise, finding common ground, and ultimately, happier, more connected relationships. When you truly listen, you create safety. You foster trust.
Okay, wow. Let's move to taste. You mentioned earlier some tastes feeling like a hug on the inside.
Yeah. Like that cold ice cream on a hot day or the first sip of coffee. It's comfort, right? Connection. And food itself is so deeply tied to community, social connection, traditions, all sources of joy.
Absolutely. Which brings us to mindful eating.
Right. Yeah. And this isn't about dieting or restriction. It's about bringing that same full, non-judgmental attention to the whole experience of eating, to your cravings, your body's actual physical cues.
What are the benefits of doing that?
Oh, quite a few. It really helps you distinguish between real physical hunger and, say, emotional hunger, eating out of boredom or stress.
Okay, yeah.
Which naturally can reduce overeating. It can help with weight management, not through rules, but by changing your relationship with food and reducing stress around it. And it's shown to be really effective for managing things like binge eating or emotional eating because it reconnects you to your body's own signals.
So if someone tends to, wolf down their lunch at their desk, what's a simple, practical way to start without it feeling like another chore?
Start small. Just try eating a bit more slowly. Chew thoroughly. Maybe turn off the TV or put the phone down just for the first few bites. Try eating those first few bites in silence, really focusing on the taste, the texture. Ask yourself why you're eating. Am I actually hungry or am I stressed, bored? Just have it.
That's a good question to ask.
Yeah, and pay attention to how the food makes you feel physically and emotionally as you eat it. Try stopping when you feel comfortably full, not just when the plate's empty. Maybe plate your food nicely, even if it's just leftovers. Sit down somewhere specific to eat.
It turns it into more of an event.
Exactly. And what's cool is that mindful eating really uses all five senses.
Yeah.
You're touching the ingredients, maybe seeing the colors and shapes, hearing the sizzle of cooking, smelling the aromas, and then finally savoring the tastes and textures.
Growing your own herbs or something could deepen that too.
Totally. Connects you right back to the source. A very holistic approach to something we do multiple times a day.
Okay, last but not least, smell. This one feels almost primal, that connection between smell, memory, and emotion.
It really is. It's wired differently. The olfactory bulb, where we process smell, has this unique direct pathway to the brain's limbic system.
The emotional center.
Yeah, the ancient core responsible for memory, the hippocampus, and emotion, the amygdala. It kind of bypasses the logical cortex, the thinking part.
Which is why a certain smell can just instantly transport you back, right? Or trigger a feeling.
Exactly. Before your conscious mind even fully registers what the smell is, like maybe the scent of incense reminds someone of family gatherings, brings instant calm, or cut grass takes you back to childhood summers.
So how can we consciously use the super direct link to, foster more joy or well-being?
You can create little joyful rituals around scent, maybe lighting a favorite candle after work, diffusing some essential oils you find calming or uplifting, even just buying yourself some flowers that smell nice.
Small things again.
Yeah, anchoring positive moments with scent. There's also a mindful scent exercise you can do. It's great for slowing the stress response, for self-soothing.
Oh, tell us about that. How does it work?
It's simple. You just deliberately take a few minutes to slow down. Think of a scent you really enjoy, maybe roses, or baking bread, or the ocean.
Okay.
Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and really focus on bringing that scent to mind. Then describe the feelings it evokes in just a few words like calm, happy, cozy. Reflect on any memories that pop up. The key is just noticing these feelings, maybe with a little gentle detachment, but also consciously soaking up any positive energy that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly powerful way to shift your internal state quickly.
Wow. Okay, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into tapping into our senses. So for everyone listening, how do we make this a real habit without it feeling like, another thing on the massive to-do list?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the magic is it doesn't have to be another big thing. These don't need to be long, elaborate rituals. Honestly, it's often the small, intentional moments that have the biggest cumulative impact. The trick is to weave them into things you're already doing.
Like sensory snacks throughout the day.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
A moment of mindful breathing before you jump into a meeting, really tasting that first sip of coffee instead of just gulping it down, savoring your lunch break, even if it's short.
So you can use them when you're feeling stressed, obviously, but also just proactively to start the day or wind down.
Precisely. Use them reactively when stress pops up, but also proactively to intentionally bookend your day with presence. You could even try keeping a senses journal for just a week. Jot down things you noticed, how they made you feel. It really sharpens your awareness.
That's a neat idea.
And don't underestimate the power of a mindful smile. Seriously, intentionally smiling, a genuine one, can trigger positive brain chemicals, boost your mood, and it can even ripple out to others. But the real key through all of this is just intention and mindfulness, being present. Deliberately connecting with the simple, inherent joyfulness of the moment that's always available through your senses.
It really feels like this deep dive has shown that our senses aren't just, input channels for information. They're these incredibly powerful, super accessible tools for cultivating joy, managing emotions, enhancing well-being.
Yeah, it's about rediscovering the extraordinary that's hidden in the seemingly ordinary world all around us.
The true magic, then, is just bringing that intention, that presence, to the simple, everyday sensory stuff we usually just rush past or ignore.
Exactly, finding richness and delight that's right there, in plain sight, at your fingertips, available every single day.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day today, what's just one small sensory pleasure you might have overlooked, maybe dismissed as totally insignificant? And how might just savoring that even for a single moment, how might that shift your outlook just a little bit?
We really encourage you to start experimenting. Play with these ideas, discover your own unique sensory pathways to presence, and hopefully a bit more joy.
We'll be here for our next deep dive.